how to put healthy boundaries without feeling guilty or feeling that shame on us. Because of punishment or reward, we may miss the ability of saying no in the right conditions. Welcome, Nino. Thank you for coming here today. And we're going to speak about boundaries and saying no. Nino is a therapist and neuropsychologist, just like me. We see lots of clients dealing with that stress, saying no, putting the boundaries. And we're going to cover that topic, and we are hoping it will be very helpful for us and you and whomever watching us. Welcome again. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Thank you for the invitation. First of all, it's a great pleasure for me because I'm really excited to see what we can co-create together. I'm Nino Margvelashvili, based in Georgia, Tbilisi. My education is neuropsychology. However, right now, my work is mostly dedicated towards increasing stress awareness, also how to encourage this compassionate, authentic relationships between parents and children, with two human beings. So that's what I do. I do trainings, I do workshops, and I'm really grateful that I'm here. I practice NVC, nonviolent communication. I also do 5 rhythms, movement meditation, and I practice, mindfulness and meditation too. So a short bio about, short summary of me.
Amazing. Also, you are a mother of 2.
Of 2 children.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
15-year-old and 10-year-old.
That's a good amount of time spending with children, with your own children. And I guess you learn a lot of things. Not only, educated or training parents and teachers, but also in your own household experience. I think it's really important to, spend time with kids. Very long time. I actually consulted the teachers and educated teachers in kindergartens and schools especially. So it taught me a lot. I didn't have to work on the children directly, but whenever I was there, children were approaching to me and spending time with me. I think my inner child is also very, childish and joyous. So it gave me lots of opportunity to observe kids and learn their language. And also it's funny because I work with adults, but sometimes my adult clients tell me that, when I go to adult therapists or psychologists, I don't feel like this is my space because I don't feel like adult. But if I go to psychologists for kids, I'm too adult for that. So I need a bridge. And they're saying that that's why I come to you. And from my observation, I can literally say that I never work with any of my clients who are above 7 years old. Because when we come to get witnessed about our pain, and the pain caused by lack of boundaries, I could say very clearly, we can have people pleasing, we can have phone response to other people just because we don't know the real boundaries. We never actually had the opportunity to discover what is the boundary over there. What is the edge? What is safe to cross and what is safe to get behind? We get so confused. And it's very joyous for me to observe those adults when they are talking about the children part of themselves and discovering that new world with boundaries and saying no and saying yes. When we don't know when to say no, it causes that the yes we say don't have any meaning if we can say no.
I agree. And I'm really grateful that you value kids and playfulness and this openness and the playfulness when working with adults, and you valuing kids. It's really important for me too. So thank you.
You mentioned you use methods with compassion. I think that's so important. I would really love to hear you on this. Like, how can we be more compassionate as well as passionate when we are saying no.
Okay, wow. So, first of all, as you started with, to be compassionate, it's also a skill. We have to practice. And being compassionate, there are two ways of being compassionate. One is a very feminine way, when you really like stay with your emotion, or with another person, and you just give your full attention. You are with them, with your kind words, you see the suffering. You don't want to remove that or like avoid it or fight it, but you just stay with it. And the other part is the fierce compassion, where you say no, where you protect boundaries, where you actually show something that you're choosing something. It might be no. So it's a skill we have to practice. And in your introduction, you really shared how from the childhood, some people are lucky enough to see the beauty of the no, and to really understand that saying no actually is not against you, and it's not something that is used to control someone else's behavior, but saying no is a way to respect, to protect, and to sustain something that is really valuable for you in that moment. So, and being compassionate when saying no actually means that we understand that when someone asks us something, when when someone requests something from us, we really have to understand that beneath this question lies a very small hidden question that means, do I matter? Am I
I
important to
matter.
you?
Yeah.
So understanding this, understanding that our no or our words touch people, impact people, no matter of our intention, using a connection request, like saying what we mean, but at the same time show to the person that, hey, like when I share this to you, how does it land on you? Like, what is going on in your head right now when you heard that? Shows to the other person that I'm giving space to the other person too. Even though I say, no, I don't agree, I don't want to change my mind, but like telling you that, hey, I see you and I see that you really want to, I'm showing you that I care about you. So that could be one part of compassionate, of the of how to be compassionate when we say no. And I think compassion, the question was about compassion. And I think compassion is scientifically the way it is defined is when we are aware of the suffering, when we are aware that it's a struggling, stressful moment, and we see that, and our intention is to still connect. Our intention is to do something in order to protect, to sustain, to respect something. And saying no's and boundaries is more about sensing our freedom, our choice, our power. But how we say it actually changes the game. Yeah, so that's where the practice comes. However, for some people, just saying no, and being okay with just saying no is really important. We have to practice that it's okay to say no, because we're not against someone else. I'm not in a fight. I'm just protecting my need, something that is really beautiful and precious for me right now.
No doesn't need an explanation. If it's a no, it's a no. That's so simple. But if we want to put some compassion in it, we know that we accept that request comes with an ask for connection. So if a person is requesting something from us, it's actually subtly that person asking for some connection with us. That person needs a connection. I think it's really compassionate to look this topic in that way. I'm really grateful that you come up with that. It gives me very compassion right now, even though I feel still joyous. Like I'm so happy to be in the same environment with you, like when we are together, because I feel that compassion. You are so compassionate. I'm so compassionate. It's like a compassion bubble. It's really great. I will add one more thing. Beside being compassionate, like you said, it is feminine way to show that compassion is very feminine. And also the structure is a masculine way. So saying no, playing no is a very structural way. And then when we add some sensuality, like it comes from our senses, it's very feminine, and both men and women have that compassion in themselves. And when they tap into that, it's amazing. It comes with structure and it comes with compassion, and it makes a whole unit. And I think what makes a person a leader, compassionate and structural leader, that's amazing.
Mm.
When we see people, oh, that person is so charismatic, they radiate some kind of aura because they know when to say no and how to say with compassion. Like when we are communicated non-violently, we want the other person don't feel like the other. We want that person feel like, wow, I am seen, I'm heard. My needs are met by that person. And even if that person tells me no and puts a boundary and didn't meet my need, oh wow, I get my need for connection. So saying yes in a beautiful, compassionate way is a connection.
And then that's when this no doesn't become anymore something that brings guilt or shame or resentment. Yes, because yeah, we have learned that in the beginning you also shared that we have learned that either if we say no, we might risk hurting other people, um, or that it's you shouldn't say no because you are obliged to another person, or it's um, come on, that person have done so many things to you, like you can't say no right now. And so this struggle, this trickiness of going against this conditional, years of long conditioning for us is very, how to say it, it's a resistance, saying no. But at the same time, we actually understand that actually we're not fighting. It's not that I'm saying no to that person, it's that I'm saying no to the strategy that that person is giving to me right now. It doesn't mean that I don't like that person. Right now I have another preference because of something that I want to protect. And you sharing about this person who is charismatic, who knows their own boundaries and knows how to express it in a way that can lend for other person too, is this huge inner connection with his or her inner world, to know what is alive in you, like what do I value in those moments, what is my boundary. So being aware and learning from the very beginning, like what is your boundaries, your body, physical boundaries, your space, learning your emotional boundaries. After some time we realize that our feelings and emotions are separate from my mom's and my dad's and my friends' emotions. Yes. So this separation, that your feelings, my feelings, but it's really important for us to have to build my identity. What do I feel in this moment? And then also the need boundaries. Okay, what I value, what is important for me. And then comes preferences. We both might value playfulness, yes, but in your case, playfulness is like dancing and being spontaneous. And in my case, playfulness is like playing with kids. Like we have our own ways of seeing how we can meet our need for playfulness. Yes. And so there, there we can be flexible. There we can come to the terms, you know what? I like children, you like dancing, so let's find something in common. But when we think about the needs, when we think about, oh, so you want to protect your freedom, you want to have your space right now, and so you don't want to come with me to the movie, is like, I see that. I see that you value freedom. It just is expressed in a different way for you and for me. And then we can think about something or we don't, but I really see you. I really see how you protect something very beautiful that I love too, but in this case, I wanted connection. I wanted to be close to you, but now you want space. So it's hearing no and saying no is not the end of conversation. In nonviolent communication, it doesn't mean that we say like go away. It just means that there's something deeper we can
Stay
understand
and
about
let's
each
discover,
other.
right?
Yes, like I
Yeah.
can really get under, like I can really get curious. Like, oh, could you tell me why you're saying no? Like, tell me more. And then you really start to go deeper and look into your inner world, and you're like, you know what? Right now, space is so important for me. Like, I'm so tired and I want to be alone in my room, hearing the birds. Like, it's real, I'm tired. Like you go into your inner world and you share it with the other person. And then the person's like, oh, wow, like now I can see why you don't want to come with me. So, and then you might see his or her needs, like, oh, but you love, like now you want to be close to another person, you want intimacy, you want whatever. Yes, and it's really beautiful too. And so we now see each other, as you said, I see you, and you're saying, I see you. And then there's no, and it's fine. So there's no conflict then if we look at saying no in that way.
You and me, and there's also a third person over there. Our relationship. And that curiosity with compassion gives us a choice now. Just because of that sacred no, we have a choice now. We can explore what's going on in your inner self and in my inner parts. And then we will be, with that curiosity, exploring another possibility.
Yeah,
And
I love it.
yeah, and sometimes I really love to see in my clients that especially they never had an opportunity to discover saying no. When when they hear that they can actually say no. Hey, you know what? You can say no. You have a choice now. And they are like, can I? I'm like, yes, you can. And they are like, okay. And they start to put boundaries. And then at one point, that no becomes like very strict no. No. When they encounter with other people and they want to say no, they are like, no, no. And then when we talk about it, when we practice that in more compassionate and curious way, and I am like, you know what? You can still say no and still be there for that person because
Mm.
that person asks for connection with you. That person wants to be something with you, wants to be in a sort of relationship with you. So maybe you can open yourself safely and create that compassionate space for that person. And they are like, really? Can I do that? Yes, you can. Do you want to, maybe practice a little? They're like, I will try. Yes, you can try. And in group practices, for example, in the workshops, at the very beginning, it's so hard to get rejected. It's very, breaking the ego and creates that insecurities come up and trigger, right? And so I generally use like soft toys and some objects. I say them, hey, you know what? There are some objects And you can ask the other person to say no to that object, but not directly to you. How about that? I mean, you still carry that object, just like your parts, your inner parts. You carry them, but you are not your inner parts completely, because in the integration of your inner parts, you are a whole. And that integration makes you you. But you are not separately one part of you. So when someone rejects a part of you, it's actually not completely you. So don't worry about that. So let's practice that. This is an object, you are holding it, and maybe you can ask the other person, hey, do you want to touch that object, that's, soft toy? And they say no. The other person say no. And they're like, okay, this is not about me. That rejection is not to me. That rejection means that that person doesn't really want to touch that object. And the person has all the rights to say no, because they simply don't want it. And it's completely okay.
I really love your playfulness in this, using playfulness in your trainings and showing to the people that they don't take things personally. It's okay to stay in some discomfort. As you said, our minds, actually, this is very, very biological, because when we are young infants, it is really, our life really depends on other humans. And if they leave us, if no one gives us milk or puts on a blanket because to regulate the temperature, we might die. So in the brain, in our minds, in our conscious mind, it's really strong. Whenever there is this possibility of separation, our minds get really triggered and they want us to protect. And so we feel all these different emotions, because we think that if that person goes away, then we might die unconsciously. And so realizing it, that now we're old, now we can handle things ourselves. We can we're really not going to die. It's not nice. It doesn't feel nice. And it's really sad. And at the same time, we can survive. And so that is one way also to look at how really tricky it is when we separate with humans, or when someone says no to us. And the other part that I wanted to share when you shared your story, to really realize for us also that we can say no to our own thoughts and self-requests, and this no is something that will give us more, to really take our thoughts as a way of, as an invitation for us to do something, to be reactive, to protect us. But at the same time, we can realize that, hey, not right now. We can pause. We can say no to our own thoughts, to our own narratives, because they might not be helpful either. So practicing no to our own selves, to our own thoughts, is a very empowering way to also.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's so important, because when we think that boundaries is always about others, we may not see ourselves as a whole person, and we can totally diminish the importance of saying no to ourselves. Might be harming us, because it's like sometimes we are like, oh, I want that and I want it now. Okay, there's a part of you with curiosity and the part of, compassion, and there's another part with discipline. And that discipline part, it's very important over there to say no to your asks, your orders, requests, whatever it is. Sometimes it might be the most beneficial action for you to take that step. And the ability to when to act and when not to act, it's the wisdom. It's not about intelligence, it's not about experience, it's the wisdom. that ability to say no to your own request might harm you. That's your wisdom.
Yes. And I think we have to really take into consideration the state the human being is, the resources that person has. You talked about responses, phone response, when you said in childhood, so some trauma response. Then it's even though the person might know that it would be really nice if that person would say no and do the other thing around, it's not possible because the window of choice and sovereignty is really short, really narrow, and it's much better to follow your thoughts and stay there and reflect afterwards. Did it serve you or did it not? And use it as a growing growth opportunity rather than fighting ourselves and our like, no, I shouldn't do that. Like my mind says, but like it's the same old way of fighting something. And so depending on where we are, how much resources we have, how much abilities, or yes, in what kind of state we are, how much energy we have, it might be easier for some people, and sometimes it might be harder sometimes.
As a mother, how is it important in your household to say no? I get questions. Some mothers, just because they didn't get that enough compassion and enough love very clearly, they turn into the other side and they are like, I never say no to my kids because I don't want them to hurt. I don't want them feel that they have that resistance coming from me. So I want to be so compassionate, so giving, and pouring all that love, opportunities, everything to them. But that creates lack of boundaries, and children never actually can learn to get that no from their parents. So in that sense, when the real world, the school, the society, the pressure start, they struggle with that a lot, and they become like, I don't even say like ruthless. I never heard that, hey, you know what, maybe it's not a good idea to do that, or there are some other ways we can discover together from their parents. They're like, okay, I'm allowed to do anything and I don't have any boundaries. I have like 100% of freedom right now, and I can be whatever I want and I can do whatever I want. I don't even really care about our people's needs. So how to deal with that? Do you think from your side as a mother?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so first of all, I think it's really important to understand that inner freedom comes from this sense of when the nervous system is balanced, when our minds have access to the prefrontal cortex, the one that makes decisions, the one that strategizes, the one that weighs, up and down, like, is it better? Is it worse? And the one that negotiates. We have to differentiate what is coming, what is a reactive, and our children's way of asking for something. Is it really that they want? Is it what they really, is that, are they aware and do they really see the beauty of it? Or it's their body's response of when they have low energy. Because when we are tired, when we have low energy, high tension, our mind seeks something that will give us very quick energy, something that will give us some that
Easy
will,
dopamine.
yes, is the dopamine or adrenaline or yeah, whatever, sugar, food, games, whatever. And so the first of all, us as adults asking questions like, whatever my child is asking for right now, is it helpful for me to give it back? Like, will it increase his energy? Will it help my child to come back to the balance, or will it increase more stress in my child's inner world? So that's one key thing, because the more we give kids things that they demand or they ask when they're tired, when they're sad, when they're angry, that is not growth promoting, the more stressed they become. And then it's harder and harder it becomes for them to really come back to their inner balance. So they will get more naughty, more like whining. After a week, they might cry a lot and it becomes harder to calm down. And then the parent gets really like, what's going on with that child? Because I did everything for him. Why is he whining? But we have to see that something is going on inside the body. So the first one is that one. And so what is freedom and what they're asking? And the other one is, as you've said, the world, includes struggle and pain.
Hardships.
And yes, and so it's so beautiful that we have this opportunity as parents to let our kids explore and stay vulnerable and sad and angry when we say no, to feel all these emotions and not to get scared of them. Because, yes, of course, people will say no to us, we'll break up, we'll have breakups, whatever, and it's really hard. However, if we have a safe person next to us and stays with us while we go through all this, that kind of discomfort, we learn that, oh, wow, like it will go through. And as you said, I'm rooted. I can go forward. I can find new ways. And as we said before that, like we become more creative. We touch so many other layers of life that I think that's saying no again. I understand parents want to protect their children from all this shame and not being able to self-express yourself as they have experienced earlier. But at the same time, we have to really become aware that no is this a natural cycle. Yes, no, breathe in, breathe out, death, life. So birth, it's a very natural cycle that we have to really appreciate, really value, even though it might be hard. But like, know that after no or behind no is yes. So there is death of something, but then there comes this expansion and birth of something. So teaching our kids to get into this life dance of giving and taking and breathing in and breathing out is a very valuable skill for them and for our lives.
Yeah, beautiful. So it is like receiving a no from someone or something. It's actually a yes. It can come from something else.
Yes,
So every
exactly.
no creates a yes. I think
Yeah,
that's super beautiful.
yeah,
Just like every rejection creates redirection. Your friend doesn't want to play with you. So it's an opportunity for you to find another friend who wants to play with you.
yeah,
And like that's
exactly.
scarcity thinking, that's scarcity because, as you said, it is like neurological programming in our brain. If they, reject us, we might die. That's why we don't want any rejection.
Mhm.
And especially when we are young and we don't have any courtesy from our parents to be that role model for us, we don't really know that if I get no, still will I die or not? That creates so much confusion in a child's mind, and the confusion is actually that thing you can give to your child, that very destructive thing.
Mm,
But fortunately, if you say no is a distraction, that construction, that building can be made after that distraction. So
mm,
that framing in our minds that no is a distraction, yes is a construction. But without a distraction, there won't be any construction. We talk about compassion, curiosity, and now we are talking about creativity. So boundaries gives you a space for creativity.
exactly. Yeah.
Hearing no from someone or something Now you have opportunity to create a new thing. You're free. Go use it.
Exactly. Yeah, and we have to, it has to really land on people's hearts and minds to really see that it's not personal. We really have to work on that to see that, oh wow, it's like just the energy, the life energy, and it's not personal. So then it's much easier to really play with that, oh wow, I received no. Okay, then it's okay, what can I do now? And so for that to happen, for us to be more playful with even no's, it's really important to have a person who we feel safe with, who directs our minds, whose words land on us, who are wise people, showing us that, life goes on, the creativity is our power, we can use it for our growth, for connections, for coming up something new, or just to be with ourselves and just hold, like sit with it, look at that pain, stay with that pain, not to fix it, and to really feel that even though you didn't do anything, it turned into something else. So, yeah, that's also
It's like alchemizing our own emotion within ourselves. I really like to put that in the world's alchemy because it really is like all emotions are just like frequency, we can say. They're all like electrochemical activity just because, we are neuropsychologists, so we work with brain and, behavior as well as mind. So they are all chemical reactions. And we can beautifully moderate our chemical reactions so that we can behave and we can control with very beautiful and compassionate way our behaviors so that it will be a meaningful composure for us to play in this world like a music, like an art. Like all relationships are a form of art, and we may as well have the pleasure of discovering the pieces of those art. It will turn a masterpiece. Like, even though we are talking about the no and the boundaries among other people, it's actually about our parts as well. It may sound like we talk about children, we talk about parents, relationship dynamics, but also all the things we talk so far in this conversation apply to the relationship, the interaction of our own parts. That's the part work. And through alchemizing our emotions, opening a safe space with compassion, curiosity, and creativity, we can make our masterpiece in a beautiful art form, and as well as we may enjoy it.
I agree. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for all your contribution. It was amazing. I felt so light. I felt very hurt and touched. Thank you.
It was a joy for me to be also part of this conversation. I really enjoyed the giving back, like us listening to each other, giving space, and then building on each other. And it was very beautiful. And I think we also touched really important points, and I hope people will um, find it valuable. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. For the audience, if you have any question, you can easily reach out to us, the comments, and email us. And we are here to discover more topics with you if you want to hear more about that. Thank you for listening. You can subscribe for more, and we can enjoy our conversation in the next episodes. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Nino. And love you all.